This raises some serious questions for the Spurs as all eyes are now on the future. With Wemby out for the season, the rotations are under more scrutiny than ever from Spurs fans, indicating we want Cass to be played more, but some questionable decisions from Mitch Johnson and some players getting more or less minutes than they deserve have raised some eyebrows. We got to dive into some specific stats on two key Spurs players that are raising some maybe alarm bells in the fandom, but we also got to talk about a couple other things, including some quotes from Castle and Fox about Wemby himself, and a little bit of a preview for Spurs Nets if you're watching this before the game, all coming up on this episode of Spurs Digest. And I want to start with this. And this is just Castle and Fox. They were asked today about Wemby because we know he's been around the team, and I just thought this was something cool to share with you guys. Castle said, look, that's just the kind of person Wemby is. He's not doing that for the cameras or views or anything. That's just how he is. He was at our practice the other day. We talked to him a lot. After most games, he's still super connected with the team. And that's Castle and Wemby being with the team, of course. And hey, this is something that we know the Spurs love to do. Not only do the Spurs love to instill this in their culture, like we know Pop has been incredibly involved with the team even after taking this long break. Can I also just say it was so sad not to see him in the team picture this year? It's crazy. I've seen some photoshops of him in there, but still, it sucks. But Wemby is the perfect guy to bring this culture forward. He's chill, he's smart, he reads, which is the big thing that everyone seems to point to, but he is super engaged with the team, and apparently he can't fit in the sports car. If you guys were seeing those videos of him trying to buy a used sports car. But anyway, this is just really cool from Fox, but it wasn't just him. Castle. This is Fox as well. Fox, when asked about Wemby, he said he's just so down to earth. He's smart. He comes in and he works hard. He wants to be around. He wants to still support his teammates, and he truly wants everyone around him to succeed. He's just a blessing to be around and just a great energy to be around. And this is a former All-NBA guard, a former All-Star in De'Aaron Fox, saying this about the 21-year-old Spurs center, to say he's an honor to be, it's unbelievable. It's a blessing to be around, I should say, not an honor. It's a blessing to be around him. Honestly, just look, there's nothing crazy newsworthy in these things, but I just wanted to point out how lucky we are, how lucky I feel to have Wemby as this future for the team. And again, the blood clot, by all accounts, it seems like it's going to be fine by next season, and I honestly can't wait. The players seem to have this best friend type of feel around all of them, and Wemby being this kind of guy to be the glue guy, bring everyone together, everyone just looking at him in awe, probably looking up at him in more ways than one. It's just awesome. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was a really, really cool note to start the video. But now we're going to get into the stuff that we all want to talk about, and that's the rotations. Look, I'm not going to spend this video just crapping on Mitch Johnson. I'm not going to spend this video saying, oh, why did he do this? Why did they not do this? Who's playing? That's tough to do. Look, we know we want Castle to play more. When he plays more, he does well. He's just him and Ginobili, who have multiple 30-point games off the bench in Spurs history or something like that. Castle's one of only a few players to score 30 against the Thunder this year. Castle is awesome, and I think we realize what the deal is with him now, and it's more like you don't make mistakes early when you're playing, and you'll get to play more minutes, right? You play well, you play solid, you'll play more minutes, and Castle's always going to get his buckets, or at least make an impact in some way. He just got to limit the turnovers, limit the fouls, limit the mistakes, and he'll be fine. But there's questions with other players, and I want to get your guys' opinion right now on Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. So I want you to comment right now your thoughts on Keldon versus Devin Vassell in the comments down below before I show you some stats to back some stuff up. Because honestly, look, if I'm being completely honest, I was kind of a bit off guard by some of these stats recently. So there's a couple things that have pushed this narrative right now. And the first one is Devin Vassell. And right now, in his last 9 games, things have not been good. Vassell's been playing 29.5 minutes a game over his last 9 games. And his last 2, hey, they've been good. 20 points and 15 points on solid shooting. But over the last 9 in general, 36% from the field, 19.6% from 3, with 11.4 points per game. Now, that 11.4 points per game is going to become a little more notable when I show you Keldon Johnson stats. So, Devin Vassell right now, he hasn't had a game shooting over 50% since February 8th, since before the All-Star break, well before the All-Star break, versus Orlando, where the Spurs lost by 1. He shot 11 for 14 that game. We thought that was a bounce back, but he's followed that up with a bad streak. Now, again, as the recording of this video, we haven't played the Brooklyn Nets yet. Maybe you're watching this after, I'm not sure. But That could also be a great opportunity. They don't have like a ton of defensive guards, so maybe Vassell can go out there and get his own. But this has become a little bit concerning, especially considering how many minutes he's playing. Again, when compared to even guys like Castle, and I know Fox still has that finger thing, but he's playing through it. So I don't know. Like, my kind of opinion here right now is that we just got to maybe try and disperse some of Vassell's minutes a little more. Even a guy like Champagny can maybe get a little more run, though I don't want to say I've soured on him, but it's just like, he's not going to always be there for you. But still, this is interesting, and I want to show you Keldon Johnson stats because this is what makes this even more interesting. So Keldon stats, I will say this is a different sample size that I took from, but even if you take just over the last 9 games as well, it's still quite good. Like, you can go back to that game versus Washington, and Keldon Johnson's had a long stretch of good games as well. It's not like I'm cherry picking this. I just thought it was more impressive to show you the bigger sample for Keldon Johnson. So feel free to pause and take a look at this. What I'm showing you here is Keldon Johnson's last 26 games, but more importantly, every game Keldon Johnson has played in 2025. And the big thing you'll notice, 12.2 points per game. And again, he's averaging more than that. Again, if I just go back to that Orlando game that I was talking about, look, he has a 28-point game in there, a 22, a 15, 11, and 18. He's right there near Vassell's average in terms of points over that stretch. But in the year of 2025, even though he's only getting 9 field goal attempts a game, 50.6% from the field, 39.8% from 3. This is the exact Keldon Johnson that we have said can be an impactful player for the Spurs. We know, look, he could score 20 a game. That's fine. But Keldon Johnson, in an ideal world, is this kind of bench spark that comes out there, plays off the bench, plays you 20 to 25 minutes a night, gets you a very efficient 12 points a game, 4 boards, a few assists, some okay defense here and there. That's what he is. Now, at this point, what I'm starting to feel is like, maybe get him some more run, because look, I know the play-in is a little out of reach right now, 5.5 games out of the play-in as of the recording of this video, but the Mavericks did just lose Kyrie Irving with a torn ACL, and other than, like, the Mavericks are right there in that 10th spot. The Spurs could easily start to climb their way back if they start to win some games. I know that's wishful thinking, but I don't want to be, like, I don't want to just say, oh, let's just tank for a good pick. Yeah, I know, look, it's capture the flag season, like, he's unbelievable, and I would love to get him. But at the end of the day, I want to see this team win. I want to see these guys develop. I want to see what's the best for the Spurs. We can't trade away our guys for draft assets. We're past the trade deadline, so why not go out and try to win? Keldon Johnson has been proving he's able to get you winning plays night in, night out. But the problem is that in that last game versus OKC, where he only put up 7 points, now again, the fouls were a big issue. He was in foul trouble. He only played 7 minutes in the second half. I say let him go out there and foul out if you need him to, right? Like, I don't know. The 7 minutes in the second half did seem a little questionable. He wasn't even allowed to go in and get his 6th foul. And so, look, it was a 14-point loss. What I'm basically saying is I want the Spurs to just go all out, see what they can get from their guys. You'll get the most out of their guys that they can. Fox is going to get his. Castle, if he plays well early in games, he's going to get his. But guys like Vassell who are on cold streaks, hey, maybe play him a few less minutes, get him back in. I know he's a volume shooter. He needs to get shots to get back into his rhythm, but still, I mean, he's going to get his shots no matter what. But get Keldon Johnson a few more minutes. This is just a few things that I would personally tweak. But look, I'm not the coach, and I don't think you guys are either. But I know I have my opinions, and I want to hear your guys down below as well, because this is definitely getting very, very interesting for the Spurs. And look, right now, honestly, what we're looking at is a fall to the bottom. We are very close to the bottom. I'd still like to see a play-in, but look, I understand if some people don't. That is what it is. And just to cap off this video, again, you made it this far. Maybe you're watching before the Nets game. Hopefully you are. A little preview for that. So right now, again, the Nets are just a couple of games back of the Spurs. 4.5 games back for that 9th last seed, I guess, if we're talking about this in terms of the power rankings, the draft lottery simulator. The Spurs have lost 1. The Nets have lost 4 in a row. Spurs are worse in their last 10. But right now, the big thing with the Nets is the guard battle. Like, that's going to be the thing tonight. De'Aaron Fox, my goodness. D'Angelo Russell is coming back. The battle of D'Angelo versus De'Aaron. And look, Russell and Thomas will take the floor together for the first time since January 2nd. And now you got Fox, and you got Castle, and you got Vassell, and you got a lot of very interesting guards coming in for the Spurs. So this game tonight could actually be very interesting. But the most important thing for me, like I just mentioned before, I think this is a great opportunity to get some guys back on track, to get these Devin Vassell numbers. play off that 9 for 19 game and that 7 for 16 game. They're not your best games, but try to play off them. Try to get a good three-point shooting night out of Devin Vassell. See if you can keep Keldon Johnson consistent. De'Aaron Fox is going to get his. I know Castle's going to get his. But right now, the question comes down to those guys and how they can execute down the stretch. Because right now, there's no doubt that a guy like Devin Vassell absolutely needs to get back into his rhythm, especially if we want the Spurs to be competitive next year. We can't have Vassell in his contract having these really bad, inefficient scoring nights, night in, night out. The Spurs will eventually go out and look for maybe a secondary scorer, and I know Stephon Castle is definitely trending towards being that guy, but there's just a few little things I would shore up here and there. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you disagree with everything. I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section, because that'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and hey, most importantly, you made it over 10 minutes into this video. Just double check to see if you're subscribed. We got San Antonio Spurs content nearly every single day, all the latest news, rumors, reports. This is your home to stay up to date. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you in the next one.